You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Bar Rescue After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Bar Rescue After
with the
Show.
theme of the show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
If you get in trouble,
We are here to, it's an AFTERBUZZ TV Bar Rescue Mad Men, episode 7. What is it on the board?
That's the old stuff.
No, we're not doing Mad Men?
No, but we can plug Mad Men, the after
goes
show
with
that
the
happened.
music.
It does. We are here for another bar rescue. We're down at Mary's Bar.
Scary Mary's.
Outpost. Scary Mary's, the title of the
Because
episode.
Mary's Bar is a Bruce Springsteen song, Down at Mary's Bar.
There you go.
There you go.
And that is the voice of Dorinda Barker
Hi, guys.
Keven Undergaro here.
and Phil Svitek. Before we get into tonight's episode, I do also want to give a quick shout out for those of you who haven't found your way yet to Over to Oxygen. There is a reality show starring Keven Undergaro.
Oh, yes. Every now and again.
I know the light. It's like, what?
I know we need to like build a spotlight right there for Keven. It's
I do
it's
love
on
the show, by the
Oxygen. It's
way.
called Chasing Maria Menounos. It's a great behind the scenes look at Keven and Maria's life. Also a great kind of behind the scenes look at AFTERBUZZ and the many things going on here. So that's Tuesday nights on Oxygen at 10 p.m.
And this week is wrestling. Maria gets in the ring and wrestles for the WWE at SummerSlam. So if you're a fan of the Divas, if you're a fan of WWE, there's some good behind the scenes stuff you catch.
And there's some little clips of Maria putting her boss in a chokehold. What is it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Who puts their boss in a chokehold?
I don't know. Well, and if you knew Maria's boss too, it's like that's not someone you put in a chokehold.
So, so definitely check it out. Once again, Oxygen, Tuesday nights, 10 p.m., Chasing Maria Menounos. But on to tonight's episode of Bar Rescue.
Scary Mary.
Scary Mary. Overall impressions, certainly different than
I have
what I love.
so much to say, but so I'll go around the table.
All right, let's start with you then, Dorinda.
Listen, I've been appalled at some of the episodes here before, but I think this one, by far, appalled in how disrespectful, and I'm gonna just go at it. He was a disrespectful, and I don't even want to call him a man because a man wouldn't do that. He was a disrespectful person who disrespected his wife. I'm really angry. I'm so sorry, guys, about
It's
this,
fine.
but I couldn't believe a man would go and do that while his wife was watching, and with and she's not a woman, a lady. We'll call her a lady. Pinky. She went by Pinky, but her real name was Nikki. And she was, listen, if you're going to do that in front of your wife, which you should never do, at least do it. No, I'm going to take that back. I'm so angry I can't even speak. I'm sorry. Just,
All right.
just
How about
go.
this? How about the because I
I'm so
recently
mad.
I recently saw The Other Woman and we did a big dissection for Anatomy of a Movie. If you guys want to check that out. But so it reminds me ironically of that movie for the simple fact of like, you know, here's this woman who knows that something's going on with her husband right in front of her. And, you know, in The Other Woman, Cameron Diaz tells Leslie Mann's character, like, hey, you can either be like the French and just blow it off, or you can get yourself some respect and, you know, and dump him.
Yeah.
It seems like Kimmy is like the French where she just looks past it.
Well, and here's the difference between The Other Woman and Pinky. It was Cameron Diaz and Kate Upton, not Pinky.
But still, that doesn't show any respect to
There's
who
no
you're
respect whatsoever to his wife. And he didn't even give her any power to do whatever she wanted. And she worked her butt off. She was doing Pinky's job while Pinky's in the back with her husband.
That's terrible.
Okay, breathe.
One of the, for me, one of the things, obviously, the wife is a big talking point, but the volunteer, I wanted to know more about the volunteer who's.
Just please, when do I get to speak?
You can speak. It's your network. Speak when you
No,
want.
I'm just saying because it all just makes me violent.
It's just like,
I just knew as I was watching with my girlfriend, she was freaking out too, just like you, Dorinda, just as I was. And there's anything you don't do to John. I swear to God, it's like he hates dishonesty, but I really feel like disrespecting women. It's that because he has a daughter, he's so close to his wife. And probably God knows what he's seen in his business. But I feel like if there's any way to make John violent, that's the way. And as I saw this, I just felt I was disgusted on many levels, and I said, so no, I'm right with you, Dorinda, on the surface for what he was doing. The wife, you could see she was just a deer in the headlights. You could see she was such a victim. She was so beaten, and I don't think she could escape.
I think she didn't feel like she had a place to go.
She had nowhere to go, and man, so many levels.
What was terrible?
But on top of it, Phil, here's the other layer I peel away from it. I feel like, and this is gonna be so hard to convey what I mean. So to please help me with this. But I feel like this guy is claimed behind the scenes that this was his character. And that this was his moment to get this was his means to get Bar Rescue in there. I feel like he was cooking a lot of this behind their backs, as we've seen on a couple of shows before. Okay? So he was like, I'm going to go full tilt with this and then get everything I need in return, which is my bar renovated. The problem is I feel like that was really him. Like, I feel like it was just, he heightened it because to get what he wanted. It was all part of it. I feel like this was his grand scheme to get what he wanted. And he was like, listen, this is who I'm going to be to get this bar renovated. But as I watched him closely, and even his body language with his wife, even when things were, quote, good, I feel like it's not so far from the truth of who he really is. He stepped it all up to make good TV, to get what he wanted. But I think that it's still close to the mark of who he is. And that's why, Phil, with your due diligence, you found Nikki's back working there. And I think that's why, because I think it was a little bit, I think that they turned it on more, knowing it would get them a better, get John more invested, get the play ball with the show to get what they needed. And now he's probably, I know he tweeted something out saying, hey, all, he was like self-deprecating in his tweet and kind of saying like, hey, it's just a show and it's all good. But I feel like that always bothers me. Dorinda, you and I always take it personally when the bar owners make up, they make up these scenarios to try to get their bars renovated. They laugh at all the fans. So that pisses you off. But I think that even beyond that, I think somewhere in his heart, he's that guy.
Oh, I don't think he was that far off, because to me, it didn't, remember that couple, that Austin couple, where the guy was the biggest D-bag there was? Yeah. And I can't remember the name of the bar. And the Brixton, that's it.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
remember, he
exactly.
said it was just a front.
Exactly. And I talked to him, and he even said all of these things, and then was so, he makes me so angry still to this day. But but with them, even when you watch the episode, it just seemed a little fake and contrived. You got that feeling like they got them in there and then they couldn't pull it off. For this guy to pull off what he pulled off and get us as angry as we got, I do believe that it was true. It's true that I think this guy was like this. He did heighten it up, but I do think there was something going on between those two.
I think he's not that great of an actor. Most of these people think they're great actors, and so you have to have a little bit of it in you already to be able to heighten it, because you're not
agreed.
Tom Hanks turning it on for the cameras.
Agreed. No. But in that process, sure, he got his renovation, but he also revealed to me anyway, I think that's who he is.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really hard to watch. And I know we'll talk about all the different stuff. So it was again another great episode. The show just continues to surprise us and evolve, but at the same time, yeah, it was really upsetting to watch. This one really bothered me. And the bar was an effing dump. It was gross. It was one of the dirtier bars, right or wrong.
Yeah, it was just
The kitchen alone.
what was that thing?
Storage
it looked like a
room?
slug, but it was actually
my-
sludge. But it looked like a slug when
That
she
looked
was
like that was living, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like it was alive. How about when they went into like the real kitchen and there was like paint in the cheese from that was over a year expired?
And you taught me the nacho cheese.
Yeah,
right?
nacho cheese, and
the
there was
nacho cheese.
paint. There was
Brooms,
lawn furniture,
God, I was only
garden
eating popcorn.
tools.
Oh, I was like, what about what they used, what they served people for food? The stuff that you put, those burgers that you take out of a wrapper that are already done. And that's what you're serving to people. And I'm sure you're charging them probably.
Which I love the menu, by the way. We don't have that. We don't have that. We ran out of hot dogs. All right.
I have only worked in one restaurant, and it was New Year's Day. I was working New Year's Day that night. I worked on one restaurant, and we did 86, more than half of the menu. And it's for a big chain restaurant, and I've never seen anything like that before happen. We actually had to close the restaurant because we did. But but other than that, I've never seen that happen ever before in my life. Where they're like, that we don't have this, we don't have that. They basically went through almost the whole menu and said, we don't have that.
How can you have it when you don't have a kid?
Well,
Where
you
were
don't
they
have a
storing
kitchen.
this food? Where was it going to go? It doesn't fit
I
in a
don't
little
even
mini
want to know.
fridge.
I have no. I don't want to know where they were storing. How about?
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. How about? Well, at least you can cook and do your hair at the same time.
You do need something to do
Yeah.
while you wait there.
And then having a volunteer, because we'll go to the volunteer, because I know you want to talk about her.
That
Elena,
seemed really interesting to me. Of like,
it seemed very illegal.
No, no. By the way, it was totally illegal. But I have seen in the shitty and cruel environments,
I've seen it too.
it's not just a volunteer, but it's the hardest working, nicest one is the one who's least respected, shit on the most, and the pinky is the star. Just like the week before at the hookah bar, that dummy was the star of the bar, that manager, where then the other people who care and really put their heart into it, get left aside. And by the way, I see a lot of businesses do that. There's the people with the rock star personalities who are funny or cute or flirty or whatever the case is. And then there's those ones who just don't complain, do all the work. All the stuff gets lopped onto them, Phil. And then the Pats of the world who act like, who are funny and whatever, who are out drinking 6 nights a week.
Let me ask you guys this. Because
don't laugh, Dorinda. It's true.
I'm trying to make...
Like that volunteer? How do you not wrap your arms around her? How do you not just build the whole business around her?
I love that you.
In a joking way, because the answer is it's all about customer acquisition. So it's all the females coming in, and what is the price of customer acquisition? Because we don't get a lot of females. That was the worst. That was the worst explanation I've ever heard.
I have never.
I just think it's human nature. I think there's a lot of employers that don't wrap their arms around the hardworking people that are really dedicated and honest. You can't do enough for those kind of people. And the other ones, the rock stars, like Pat,
they're fun.
give them to me. Let them work with me every day. Now Pat's not having so much fun anymore. Now he works with me. When he was with Marie, he was having a ball. So now he doesn't. Now it's not so much fun. But you know what? Pat's also a major producer on a few big television projects, and with me, but not so much fun. But later in life, Pat will be very successful because of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a whole side thing. But the point is, I get AfterBuzz here. I feel like a lot of the people are like that volunteer where they work so hard. Our behind-the-scenes staff. We have our hosts. And then we have our our core staff that's on salary. But I feel one of the knocks, Phil, you guys have gotten over the years is the fact that people come in here and it's not, it's not party time when you guys are here. You guys are your noses.
that, Dorinda.
Yeah, they've gotten that a lot where they're not, they're not the popular kids, but they work so hard and you wrap your arms around those people. And I saw as soon as I saw the volunteer, I was like, oh my God, this makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
This look at the positive, the smile on her face as she's breaking down boxes, and then those guys are just taking shots and hitting on girls.
Pinky in the brain.
Worse than hitting on girls. I mean, being like
That was
disgusting.
a prostitution ring.
It was
That was
like,
literally-
Oh, so let's talk about that. Ugh.
Do you want the kiddie tour or the adult tour?
Gets them in the room and wants them to take their shirts off. Hello, rape. I was like, that was just disgusting. I felt. Did you not feel violated?
Yes,
I
I
felt
did. Of course
violated.
I
I felt
did.
like something was going to happen. I knew John was going to take care of it because that's the way John is. But what happens if? You know, those girls could take care of themselves, but what happens if you get some girl who's drunk?
Anything can happen.
Anything
My
can
God.
happen.
Which is it leads to. Okay, if girls don't come into the bar, and your whole spiel is that, you know, because girls don't come to the bar, that you need to do some customer acquisition to try to get them to come back. How many have come back? Why? Because God knows what happened.
Yeah, but Phil, I think the customer acquisition, that's just an excuse. There's no real thought put into it. It's just a
No.
matter of we're having fun. We're having a good time
Yeah.
here, and I got my wife to do all the grunt work and hold it down.
Oh yeah, look at her go. As what did Nikki say? Oh, there's your wife. She's doing all my work. Why am I doing it? What?
Oh my God.
But he had a daughter. He had a daughter
Troll.
too,
You troll.
right? You talked about John having a daughter.
He has a 17-year-old daughter that he's trying. They are $250,000 in debt.
Not
2
even that.
months
Forget the
away.
money. Would
But-
you want your daughter going through this?
Well, he wasn't thinking about that.
No.
But here's the thing about karma, because she, excuse my language, is a bitch, and something will happen someday, unfortunately, and you have to learn a lesson somehow, and he wasn't learning any types of lessons. Oh, it just makes me so angry. So angry. I didn't want John to do this. I did not want John to do this rescue, to be honest with you.
I know but we already walked out on one.
Yeah, so exactly. I was like, you can't do 2 in a season. But I mean, and I would have like loved it if he walked out on this one. And he had to find a reason, as he has explained. Even with that one, he was trying to find a reason. There was just no reason for that one. But for this one, there was the wife, because you felt for the wife. And she still had no power. He didn't let her do anything. He didn't let her fire anybody.
So let's talk about the stress test.
Oh, wait, can we talk about his shirt real quick?
Sure.
By the way, okay, so he had the shirt, and then the old bartender had the t-shirt. So
complete asshole.
So again, this is why I feel like, but guys, this is why I feel like there's just was more manipulation going on in this one on the part of these guys, because I feel like that was a t-shirt company that they were part of or friends with, because they had all these interesting
Yeah.
t-shirts with
Yeah.
all these bumper sticker slogans on them. You know,
Yeah.
it made me think that as well. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly we
Well,
talked
that's
about
true.
last episode. What was it? Puff Puff Taff.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and like they're selling these T-shirts of.
But I think these guys had a pre-existing one.
No, I get what you're
Or
saying, but
something
like
they
how
would-
everyone just wants to all of a sudden now you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They steal any penny they can off of this, and when instead, if you just embrace it, it'll become such a bigger win.
Cockroach Bar closed, just so you guys know.
Oh.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm upset about it is because
Why?
I'm supposed to be going to Austin.
You want to? Well, no, but you can still go by. You can still go by.
I'm going in a few months, but
So.
yeah, I wanted to go.
And Pirates is still open. 18 minutes and 26 seconds.
Pirates is still open. Listen, I give Pirates props for
Hell
Pirates is
yeah.
props.
Well, I
Because they're
mean-
keep that. And
No,
listen,
but wait, but
they're
Dorinda,
keeping
we
the
don't.
ship afloat.
But we don't know. No pun intended. But we don't know how much of that has to do with Bar Rescue.
I bet you a whole bunch
I
of
think
percentage
so.
on it.
I think so.
I think.
And I
yeah.
bet
It's like
you-
a national monument.
And I bet you if we,
a little
and
bit
if
about
we,
AfterBuzz.
and if we asked her, I bet you she would be like,
She would
no.
say no.
Yeah, no.
No.
No, it's our pirates that keep us going.
Yeah.
By the way,
you want to be a
One-Eyed
pirate,
Mike.
send your daughter to college.
No, I was a big fan.
of
One-Eyed Mike.
yeah.
Yeah, because he had a knife on him. You know, when I was going back and looking at the old episode, yeah, there was one time where he's like clutching a knife as he's talking.
No, was it
Yeah.
a knife or a sword?
It was, I think it was a knife. We'll have to go back and look at it again. But
Oh,
I was like,
no.
oh, wait, I've been championing
The
so
guy
much
who carries a
One-Eyed
knife.
Mike. But yeah.
None of us caught it.
Arr.
So I mean, like,
Stress test.
ugh.
I mean, you know, it's nice to see that the people that you expect to do fairly well tend to do fairly well. I mean, they don't go over the top. They don't succeed in that way.
Yeah.
but at least you can see, okay, if certain improvements happen in this regard, this sector of the bar can at least be successful, and we got major problems to deal with here.
The expert was like an alternative Mia. Did you notice that?
Lisa Marie?
She talked, she had, so if you close your eyes, her voice sounded just like Mia. But of course, she was, she was the Suicide Girl version of Mia.
I loved her hair. I was
She was
like,
great.
I got to figure out how to do that hair.
She was a spitfire.
I liked her.
Again, I don't know, the fact that John sent her in, just genius. Because Mia, I don't know how Mia would be if he sent her in for recon. But
you would have never sent
But you send
her
a girl, John's instinct, you send that girl in because she could roll around. She could take a punch.
Yeah.
She's a tough girl. You could see it. And she made great TV. I wonder, I think John was so infuriated that he seemed so subdued the rest of the episode because he was so infuriated in that moment. It felt like.
And the fact that he threw the drink in the guy's face.
Yeah.
How about that?
Right.
That was awesome.
Yeah. And again, my heart went into my stomach. I'm like, oh my God, what is
Because he followed him out, dude.
Yeah.
He
And he's
followed
another
him
big
out.
guy too. And just again, that guy's in home turf. It just goes to my point. Spike, 3-ball, security. That's it. That's it. Corolla has it on his show. John needs it on his show. That's it. Or you're going to lose the star of your network. Plain and simple.
Sooner or later, someone's going to be crazy enough. In this business of the bar and restaurant business, there are people crazy enough to do crazy things. Which
well, I think
actually
especially
we
by
saw
the way,
happen
TV
this
time.
season.
And that's right. And if you
Look what happened this season with that one episode that is not allowed to be aired because of what that crazy owner did.
right. And when you're talking about, sure, the owners might be different, but they're workers who are, on a small hourly wage. And if they're drinking or whatever else they're on, they're going to think nothing of taking a swing at John or somebody on the crew, make a name for themselves. And most people who know the legal system, they'll be out in 24 hours. It's not a big deal. And what are you going to sue them for? A lot of them don't have anything. So it's just, he's got a target on him. And when I saw that happen, which was totally justified, and I knew John was going to just snap, like I said, say, this guy was
Ridiculous.
the worst that for John.
Yeah.
Other than those monsters from 2 weeks ago.
So by the way, we've been talking about, let's just say it, a shit owner. But on the line, thanks to Stephen Lemieux, we have one of the owners from the Katrina bar.
Oh, no, I don't think it is that's right. The Spirits on Bourbon.
Yes.
Steve, are you there?
I'm here. How you doing?
Oh, Steve, Steve, did you watch last week's episode? Or this week's?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Yes, I
good.
did.
So can we just get you to jump in with us on that, and then we want to talk about your experience with John. But what were your thoughts?
Well, my biggest things, that we talked, that you guys were just talking about, was about the owner, Bill, and the way he treated his wife, and the way he was talking to women at the bar and things, and obviously got John's ire really up there. So, my business partner Brad and I, our wives don't necessarily work at the bar, but my wife Sharon and my business partner Brad's wife Arita, they're both very important parts of what we do and involved in all the decisions we make, and spend a lot of time at the bar. And I couldn't imagine getting away with some of the things that the owner was getting away with there. In fact, I was watching the show with my wife last night, and I think she was getting mad at me just watching the show at the same time. So, I don't know. I mean, that's something that was pretty weird. Obviously, John got pretty fired up about it, and rightfully so, I guess.
I mean, you're on Bourbon Street. I've been to your bar. It's amazing. You're also in one of the biggest party spots probably in the country. So you have so many pretty young girls going through your place. Even without your wife, would you behave that way as an owner?
No. Well, fortunately for me, I'm kind of a fat, ugly guy, so I don't have some of the same issues that a good-looking guy might have over there.
Yeah, but wait,
but as an owner, you have to.
But you're an owner of a bar.
You have to act professional.
But Steve.
Right. As an owner of any business, there's a professionalism about it, and I think one of the things that stood out for me about this past episode was in the very beginning, the owner Bill said, he always looks at this as his personal basement bar. I think is what he said.
That was the first thing he said.
To me, that's a sign right away that there's problems. Whenever you look at it as your own personal party den or anything else like that, you're going to run into trouble. And if you watch Bar Rescue episodes before, that's one of the things John just absolutely does not stand for is you making this your own party, and it's not about you, it's about the customers.
Right. We say it all the time. Just spend your $80,000 on a great man cave and invite your friends over and save everyone the trouble. We say it all the time.
Make a bunch of money with John's bar science, and then do whatever you want at home, but don't bring it into work with you.
Yeah.
Play along, Steve. Play along with us as we take us through some of the steps. If Phil, if you'd be so kind. So Phil,
Sure.
you want to go into at this pace the stress test?
Yeah, I mean, well, we everything was just basically set up to fail. We got cash registers from 1940. We got I don't know what the system was, but at least
They had no system. At one point, he goes, "We'll take all the tickets and paperclip them and figure it out." There's a system.
So Steve, as you're watching, what's going through your head as you're watching the stress test?
Well, I know, without the basic setups and techniques in place, there's no way you can put up with the amount of people that they bring in for the stress test. I know when we had ours at Spirits on Bourbon, there was a line going down Bourbon Street here in New Orleans of people waiting to get in. And with certainly without a POS system, with handwritten tickets, if you're not used to, even before our makeover, we're used to busy nights. We have Mardi Gras down here. We have all the big events on Bourbon Street that take place. So we had some systems in place. Obviously not enough. If you watched our episode, we had a lot of shortcomings ourselves that we owe a lot to John for coming in and really showing us the way. But without those basic systems in place and without any techniques and without the bartenders knowing the basics and without communication between the kitchen and the wait staff and the bar staff, with the amount of people that the Bar Rescue brings in there, and John forces you for a reason, to really throw you to the wolves to see what you can handle and what you can't, and really to open your eyes as far as what you can handle and what you can't. Because I can remember for us after the stress test, for us, that was the day that we really realized, my business partner Brad and I really realized, look, John's here to help us out, and we can't handle the amount of people that will be coming in after we're involved in this show the way we are now. And it really opened our eyes, and that's the day we almost saw the light, if you want to say, as to, we really need to listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about, and his staff knows what he's talking about. And, we really need to listen to this guy and turn ourselves around. And that's what happened after the stress test. I mean, it was more of a, really opened our eyes to what was going on.
Well, with these guys, they did have some decent bartenders. I was most surprised with the old timer because I've had that. I had this old guy who worked at the bar I was with, and everyone knew he should have been fired 6 or 7 years before I even got there. And the owners were just nice, but he was slow. He didn't know any of the current music. He hated the customers. He had a terrible attitude. It was the same exact thing. And all this guy would do is he'd go into the cooler and he would load the beer fridge just to get out of having it. And you'd work your ass out, and then you'd split the tips with him, and he'd go home with like $300 for not doing anything. And it was, it just brought back memories of that guy. And seeing him,
right? Well,
with his shirt on, of all things, I wanted to send him flying too, Steve. But what were your thoughts on him?
He seemed to make a complete 180 turnaround once the bar expert got in there and worked with him. I think it was Lisa Marie Joyce was her name. And once he got in there with it was an old timer, and that does happen. I mean, I'll tell you, waiting on customers and being in the service industry for years and years, like this guy had been, it'll take its toll on you a little bit. And if you don't have new customers coming in and challenging you every day and ordering different drinks, it's real easy. I could see how for the older gentleman to kind of fall in, get set in his ways, and not try and get better every day. But I think. I was surprised by him in that they really did light a fire. I didn't think that he was going to be one of the ones to make a turnaround. I thought that, sometimes the old-timer bartenders, they're kind of stuck in their ways, and they think things should be done just their way, how it was done a long time ago. And, customers change, the bar scene changes, all the time, and you have to keep up with it. And I was kind of surprised. I mean, he really did served with a smile on his face by the time the show was over, and really seemed to embrace the changes, which for an old timer is tough to do sometimes.
Tough
really
and next to
don't see it happen very
impossible.
often.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you don't. I was pleasantly surprised by that turnaround.
I was too. I was very surprised.
I think it
by
just
that,
shows,
but
you know,
happy about it.
John said this in his book, Raise the Bar, but it's all about standards. And, you know, when the bar had no standards, so what was he going to live up to? The only thing that was a standard was, okay, here's your, you know, come in at this time, leave at this time. And, okay, that's all I have to do, great.
Yeah.
You know, but if it's like, hey, you have to make these drinks, like she had, I give Lisa Marie credit. I love that she had her
loved it.
whistle, she had her
Just
timer,
start.
keep your feet moving. That was like
She's
a real
great.
coach on a sports
was
team.
awesome.
It's a great expert for us, you know, for the future. She's great.
Yeah, I
right up
loved
there with
her.
Russell and Mia and the rest of them. I really liked her.
And she was also given positive encouragement, not just breaking them down the whole time. You know, she had the whistle and everything, but she was also encouraging them along the way. And when she saw them do something well, you know, she patted them on the back on it, and it goes a long way sometimes.
Phil, take us from there.
From there, we're kind of into the remodel.
Well, no, there was a staff meeting afterwards because, you know, Pinky, you know, she's...
Oh, yes, the firing of Pinky.
Yes, because, you know, she, you know, downward spiral, everyone knew that was going to happen. So...
But, and here's why I will be a little positive about Pinky.
Okay.
Nikki took the firing well. I thought she was going to be the one, like they all do. You know what? This place is nothing without me.
No.
Me. But that's usually what they do. What do you mean, no? They usually always go out with a bang. She was like, you know what?
It's on me.
It's on me. Like that was. So I was like, I respect that.
Yeah, because honestly, that whole thing, I thought, and Steve, you can chime in if you like. When I was watching that, I'm like, this is just a lawsuit waiting to happen. This is like a sexual harassment suit
that's all I kept
waiting
thinking.
to happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know, Bill was obviously the main culprit in this. He was playing the two girls against each other, and you know, really acting completely out of line, unprofessional. Like you said, a lawsuit, and who knows what, maybe being for a divorce by the time it was all over with. But you know, something had to happen. I mean, eventually they let her go, and she did take it well. But obviously, I mean, Bill was the main culprit. But you know, something had to be done, or they could never move forward.
Yeah, and you know, what was interesting about it, obviously, typically, you know, if you're trying to empower Kimmy, I think John would have been, you know, in prior episodes, depending on the situation, been like, hey, Kimmy, fire her, right? But obviously, because it was his mess, he had to be the one to do it. And now it's on Kimmy to, you know, find a replacement. Now it's giving her the power to hire people.
And she had no power, too. Let's remember this. He gave her no power.
None.
Nothing.
But that's what I'm saying. John, you know, in the past, he would say, hey, in order for you to get power, fire her. Right? But that wasn't her thing.
Okay.
It wasn't
yeah.
her
oh,
battle.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's, you know, it was Bill's fault for having done this, and so he has to be the one to do it.
I agree with you on that, yeah.
You know, it's his situation to face up to.
Yeah, but it's the staff meeting, you know, everyone was proud of Bruce. I was proud of Bruce, too. And then it goes to she goes, I go. And then they come up with the ideas for the roadside bar. What did you think of the ideas for the roadside stand bar, Steve?
Oh, well, I loved it. You know, it's a kind of a, you know, that slice of Americana is something everybody can relate to. You know, I think the sign almost gave you the impression of a 50s diner kind of feel if you look at it. You know, Thirsty's roadside bar, and I really like the murals on the wall inside and everything. And like John talked about, you know, him and his staff researched the area, and it's majority. I think I don't forget the number, but majority couples living in the area. So you needed almost a family-friendly feel and look to the place, and even everything, you know, John does with the bar sciences, everything from the colors of the outfits that the girls were wearing by the time the night opened. I think it was like a turquoise and a pink girls had on, and even the old time bartender had a brighter shirt on. The place was brighter. It just looked more friendly, and you know, absolutely nothing like the dive that John walked into a few days before.
That is true. I really liked what the bar looked like.
I liked the exterior of the building. I thought was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
What a great facelift. Just the painting and the way he lit the building up. Big difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't forget, in the beginning, too, you couldn't even walk in the main front entrance. Was
Right.
You had to
was
do the
not an entrance,
sidebar.
you know?
You had to
Right.
go through the side, right? Yeah, you had to go through the side.
Right.
But yeah, so John then sits down with John does, and Steve, you've witnessed this because you've been part of this.
Yeah.
John sits down with the wife and the husband. Now the husband ticked me off once again. He ticked me off this whole episode, and the fact that he's like, "Oh, she did great. I'm really surprised." Talking about his wife. Meanwhile, she's been doing all the work. The work of your little girlfriend on the side. She's been doing her work so you guys can go in the back office and do whatever you guys are doing. And then you have the nerve to say that about your wife after the stress test? Ooh,
It's
so mad.
dealing with John when people watch the show a lot, most of the times when I get from people, man, is John really that tough in person? Is he that mean? Is he that fiery? And he is all of those things. And for us, yes, he gave us a barber chair in front of our bar and used the bar of sciences. And he moved the to-go bar out front. He gave us a great drink with a flashing mug. That's the Skull Cup. That's our resurrection. The biggest thing John did for us was change mine and Brad's mentality about the way things were going. And the biggest thing he did for us was change us mentally. He did all these other things physically to the bar and used the bar sciences. But the biggest thing he does is, and maybe it's not on camera as much as it should be, but he forced us to look in the mirror every day and wake up and say, the only person that's really going to change your business is yourself. And I think we've become friends with John over the last few years since our show. We met him in Las Vegas, and when we went up to help out in the Bungalow Bar episode in New York. And the biggest thing I can say about him is that he's been a friend to us. And yeah, I mean, hey, look, on that episode, we got into it. We definitely went. We were face to face and really yelling and screaming at each other. But the biggest thing I can say is that he changed the way we think about our business and about making excuses and about taking responsibility for ourselves. And I've seen it in many episodes. He sat down with husbands and wives and talked to them and kind of changed them as a person, because at the end of the day, John and his crew and the cameras are, in a couple of days they're going to be gone, and you can take the physical things and the paint job and the Posit Touch system or the POS system, and it can only go so far unless the people in charge have changed the attitude about the way things are going at work. We
say it all the time. It's what he does, how he changes the people. And I agree. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. I think everyone thinks it's, he puts up a sign and tosses in a POS system and a fryer later, but it's way deeper than that, And we see it anyway. It's one of the reasons why we watch the show so closely, and why it's so important to us to learn. I think you may actually be one of his greatest works. Your bar.
Well,
I know a lot of celebrities.
He's mentioned that quite a few times. I think for him, really all John has to go on is his reputation. So for him, we're pretty, where we're located, we're a pretty high profile spot, I guess, right in the middle of Bourbon Street in New Orleans. And for him to say, look, I took these two stupid guys on Bourbon Street and turned them into something and made spirits all bourbon, and it's a pretty good feather in his cap too to mention us. Our sales have skyrocketed since the show. We're up. Our sales have doubled, up over $1 million in the last year since the show. I mean, as far as the makeover itself, for us, it's been unbelievable.
Do you hear from any of the other Bar Rescue owners? Is there any kind of Bar Rescue owner fraternity that has developed? Or?
Well, yeah, it's a good question, because we've become close with several of the people. You have Russell, who's one of the bar experts that's on a lot of the episodes. We've gotten to know him pretty well, and Duffy, who's one of the chefs.
They're on us.
But we went up to. When we went up to New York to help out with the Rockaway, the Bungalow Bar, I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, of
the one that
course.
got ruined for Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah.
And we got to know the Tuberty brothers very well. In fact, one of their dads and brothers were here just a few weeks ago in New Orleans hanging out, and we went out to dinner with them. And also, we went out to Las Vegas every year where John has his bar and nightclub show. And so we've gotten to know quite a few of the owners, through these different things we go to and everything. And really, not all of them have worked out great, but the ones that have worked out, we're all pretty close. And we share and exchange information too. Things that help us out, things that John did while he was here that might, every day, even in this business, even after John and them left, you have to keep improving your business every day. So you're always looking for ways to do that. And if other people had the opportunity to work with John, they might have some different ideas that they did that we might want to try and use, and vice versa.
I think the like-minded people always stick together in life. I see it all the time in business. Yeah, and then those. So, in other words, you're not staying in touch with the lady that owns the Pirates Bar. You don't hear.
That was going to be my follow-up.
No,
you don't hear from
I haven't
her.
talked to the lady at the Pirates Bar. It's funny. Yeah,
Come on,
that's the one.
Steve.
Whenever you talk to the crew of Bar Rescue and everything, that's one of the most asked about episodes. And I know that's the one John I think least likes to talk about. So
And it's ironic because we have a running joke that, with the exception maybe one after
I
show,
think there might be only one that we did not talk
we've
about.
not referenced them because we're so blown away. And the only reason it subsided is because by those monsters 2 or 3 weeks ago.
The one where the O bar.
That just spooked me so. The O bar
O-face.
spooked me so bad, and all of us too. That all of a sudden, the Pirates, at least we can laugh about. I didn't find them to be a laughing matter.
But come on,
right,
Steve,
the Pirates
tell
are
me.
more or less funny. These guys were punching their employees and beating them up
Bad.
and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
It was ridiculous,
Bad
But come
people.
on, Steve, tell me you don't want to go to the Pirates Bar just to go, just to check it out.
Well, like I said, we're in New Orleans, so we have groups of pirates that hang out here, just like those people do over there. They just don't own the bar and act like it's the greatest thing of all time. But we do get groups in here sometimes. They're in New Orleans. They have conventions and things with these pirates, and they really do. I mean, they hold their big swords and everything. They talk like pirates when they're here and everything. They take it pretty seriously. But I don't know if they were opening a bar, if it would be a place I'd like to go.
Right, and that was John's whole point was that, okay, but can this sustain your? I mean, John's even saying a sports bar you're limited to 60
it's
events.
It's nice for a Halloween party, but it only goes so far.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only play to that niche so much. I just realized that my girlfriend has a book tour coming out in June. I think we go to Washington, so Pirates Bar. Just thought of it.
In September,
Book
I
signing
have
at
a
the
wedding.
Pirate Bar?
I have
What's
a
that?
wedding.
Oh my God, you're right. Book signing at the Pirates
That would be
Bar.
awesome. I have a wedding in September right in that area that I have to go to. And I've already told Kat and I are going to a wedding for one of our friends. And
Kat Bayless from
Hey, Kat
VH1's Hit the
Bayless.
Floor.
She's calling me like crazy. But yeah, we
Okay, so we
we're gonna
can
go.
bring from Kat Bayless, star of, give Kat a little plug, former AfterBuzzer, star of Hit the Floor on VH1, great actress, starred on One Tree Hill with Maria back in the day, a longtime friend. I think we need to bring Kat by the Pirate Bar. I
yeah.
really want a picture of you and Kat
God,
at the Pirate Bar.
Yeah, we're gonna be over in that
with
area.
One-Eyed Mike.
And grog.
Well, that will not happen.
Well, you just got to pose with the
Yeah,
grog.
we'll just propose with the grog. We will not drink the grog. But yeah.
Just a sip. Just a sip.
Do you imagine? Ew. What is this?
Oh,
Oh, she'll be hilarious. No, Kat will be hilarious with the Pirate Bar owner.
this?
Anyway, and Steve, it's so nice to hear from the owners that bought into what John did. There's a lot of them that just didn't, or we found a lot like that con their way into it just to get free swag.
the all-in
Right.
guy.
Yeah, it's
That guy.
anyway.
Well, for us, it's been an incredible experience. We were pretty sure. We didn't really know too much about what we were getting into when we started it. We'd seen all the shows, and so we kind of knew how it went down and stuff. But all I can say is we were pretty sure that when John and the cameras left, we would never hear or see them again. But in our experience anyway, it's been the total opposite.
That's John.
John
Yeah,
checks up with his staff, checks up on us. If they had things broken when we left, they do everything in basically 48 hours. So when they leave, there's some furniture, there's some screws missing, there's some furniture here and there that needs to be replaced. But whenever we needed something from them, and whenever we told them about something, they came and got the job done for us. And actually, at this point, John and Brad and I have become great friends, and glad for it. We're better for it for sure. So.
But you're someone who
spread
gets
the word
it.
as much as I can that it's worked out great for us.
But you get it. You know,
Yeah,
there's
but-
other people who are like, speaking of screws missing or this or that, there's those people who blow that stuff up. They get $500,000 worth of free consultation and swag, and then it's like, there was 2 screws that weren't screwed in properly, but go ahead, Jordan, because I know you're
Steve.
Well, at the end of the day, you have to look yourself in the mirror and make your business work, whether John came through or not. So
Yeah,
we're just fortunate enough to get to know him. So
Yeah, we've had a couple owners that wanted to, call in and be on the show, and one I ixnayed. I said no, because just of what you were just talking about, he was like, and then they left us with a list of things that we needed, and they didn't help us with anything, and they ranking on this. I'm like, there's no way I want you on this show.
Right.
I mean, if it was valid, we've had some controversial people on here, which is fine, but I'm not going to have you rank on a show that gives you almost $100,000 worth of a remodel.
At least it's usually
that
more.
fixes
If you went to John's rate, it's $500,000.
And John and his people, you can only do so much. At the end of the day, when they leave, you have to take it up on your own and make it your own.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, these bars were failing when he got there. So I mean, you can only do so much in a week. You have to take what he teaches you and take what he gives you and run with it. And if you don't, you're right back in the same boat you were. Only now you have an excuse. You can point point your finger at John and his staff and say, "Well, that's what happened." But in reality, it was inevitable to begin with.
If you don't clean the ice machine, that ice machine isn't going to stay clean.
Oh no!
Right.
So
Just how it is.
That's just how it works, man.
Well, Steve, thank you. I know I'm going to see you again because we now have some friends down in New Orleans. And last time we were in and out with the Hall of Fame, WWE Hall of Fame. But next time we're in there, I'm stopping in and I'm getting on the barbecue.
Yeah, definitely drag some more people down to Spirits on Bourbon. Everybody come on and say hello.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
And Steve, do you have a Facebook, Spirits on Bourbon Facebook or a Twitter account?
Oh, yeah. Yep. The Facebook is Spirits on Bourbon, Home of the Resurrection. The Twitter is at Spirits on Bourbon. And our website is just plain spiritsonbourbon.com. So be sure to check us out.
And make sure you tell Brad we said hi. He's so sweet. He is
I
so
definitely
sweet.
will.
Thanks for calling in, Steve. We'll talk to you. Maybe we'll talk
I'm sure he's listening right now.
Maybe we'll have you in next season if we don't have you in at the end of this one.
That sounds great. I'll come back anytime.
Thanks, Steve.
all right, guys, what's left to talk about? We gotta start wrapping
Well,
up.
I
soon.
think we can talk. I did some due diligence on where the bar's at now. As I said, he threw out a little disclaimer. I think they've taken out the picnic tables.
I like the picnic tables, though.
Well,
it fit with the theme. I mean, I can understand why.
But you never know. Listen, but you never know.
Yeah.
In all fairness to everyone involved, some things going to work, some things don't.
there's
You
hits
never
and
know. Practically speaking.
I mean, what I've noticed is he's been pretty vocal about it on his Facebook and whatever else in terms of.
The stuff I saw, he was semi-positive, was he not?
Yeah, overall, I don't know, but there's a lot of other people, the sites that unfortunately rise to the top are the ones that try to poke holes at all the stories and try to, they take whatever negative comment might be possible and try to tie it in with something else. Apparently, Kimmy and Nikki are friends on Facebook. They're like, "Oh my God, this is all a ruse," and I'm just like, "Really? Anything you guys can string together?"
There's people I'm friends with on Facebook that I don't like.
Yeah, you just don't befriend them.
I don't befriend them because they might say something about me.
There you go. Keep your friends close, your enemies closer.
But I was reading some of the regulars, the regulars who were talking about not liking the new bar, and it was like, well, of course, because you were one of those people who liked that bar. You really liked a bar with all that filth and slime. And
if nothing else, you like getting free drinks.
Yeah,
bring them 6 months worth of drinks. Oh yeah, of course you're gonna hate it because now you have to pay.
Over 8,000 a month. That's $96,000. I did that quickly, by the way. $96,000. $96,000. You're 250 in a hole. You wouldn't have been if you didn't.
Anyway.
God. Anyway, I don't even want to.
The fact that anyone could think that the way that bar looked then and now is better is forget it. Just why don't even indulge.
Well, that's because they're sucky buses.
Don't even indulge.
All right. Well, it's been another fun bar rescue episode.
And by the way, no shout out to Hungry Investor.
Yes.
The show After Bar.
Have you guys seen it yet?
I watched a little bit of it. I'm gonna go home and watch the rest.
Okay.
Tiffany's on it.
Yeah, Tiffany's on
which
it.
made sense that she was on Bar Rescue.
I really like it. I feel like it works with Bar Rescue.
Yeah.
You know, and John's just such a star wherever you put him.
Yeah.
And it's great because you're working with places that there's a lot of attitude with the owners. You know, that we and I like seeing John in more restaurant world than just bars. So it's interesting because you get to see more of his superpowers. You know, right now we see mainly Bar Rescue and psychology, but in this show we see restaurant. So it's very cool.
All right, so definitely check that out. Hungry Investors, right after Bar Rescue on Spike, Sunday nights.
Yes, and you can check me out, Dorinda Barker, at Instagram, DorindaB1, and also on Twitter at Lula Cherry Films.
At Undergaro, and please keep watching Chasing Maria Menounos on Oxygen.
Please do.
Please.
That's Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. on Oxygen. Only 3 episodes left. Get caught up if you're not caught up.
No, 3 episodes. What are you
8,
saying?
9, 10.
Done. Boom.
No, I just read.
Who read?
I said Sunday is the finale.
No, we're talking about Oxygen, his reality show.
Oh.
Chasing Maria Menounos. Only 3 episodes left.
Okay, sorry, guys.
Dorinda, it sounds like you got to get caught up. It's available on Amazon. It's available on iTunes.
I'm watching it.
And if you're there, hey, you know what? Give a little comment on that. You know, if you're loving the show, let us know.
Comment on oxygen.com and on IMDb.
Because not for nothing, this guy's put a lot of himself into the show, as has Maria.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely. It just gets worse too, as you'll see. No, I definitely threw. If for someone who doesn't want to be on camera in that capacity,
you're not that guy.
I'm not that guy.
Seriously, Keven is not that guy.
I took one for the team on this one.
So definitely check it out. And follow us here on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at AfterBuzz TV. And of course, Raise the Bar, John's book, Bar Rescue, Sunday nights, followed by Hungry Investors. We'll see you here for another after show.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.